210 Boxing TV or Coach Calvin Ford, Javante Tank Davis's trainer. Fight week finally here. Big super fight this Saturday. Talk about it, the preparation, the build-up, just
Well,
being here now.
it's the same thing as any fight that we go into, but the difference is this is two undefeated guys with knockout power, speed. Look at the room, yeah. It's like amazing, So we know this is big right here. This is super big.
Now, this fight, right? They've been talking a lot of trash on social media, stuff like that.
I knew
Do
that
you
was
feel like
coming.
it's kind of good for boxing? Like that's what it needs,
It's
because
great for
sometimes it
boxing.
makes it boring,
You got to look at it. If it do happens, if it do happens, if it do happens, it's changing boxing. And they always say, "Oh, boxing watered down. Boxing is what you call it." The only way they're going to bring it to that level again is let the fighters do what they want.
Now, of course, you being the trainer, you don't have to, disclose everything, divulge everything. But I noticed at the face-offs, right? Tank, he's not really a talker. He don't really talk that much. But at the face-offs, he loves getting in the face. And I noticed at the first press conference, right, when it was Joe was all like, Coach Calvin, and you were like, no, let him go, let him go.
They ain't gonna mess the bag up. You know what I'm saying? They gonna. How would that say? It's a fight. It's a fight. Let it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? We already know at the end of the day, we want to see it. We want to put the fans in the seat. We want people to be interested in the fight. But this fight is amazing because you got two different cultures, undefeated guys, and they here at the party.
You got probably the most popular African American fighter versus the most popular Mexican American fighter.
Yeah.
Like you said, both cultures.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that Tank has so many Mexican fans? Like
No,
Tank may
I'm
have more
not.
Mexican fans than Ryan,
I
if we're
believe
being
so, 'cause
honest.
when I go to the Nationals, man, I have families coming to me, little kids. I had two little kids. They call themselves Tank. Girls. I mean, I think the style of Tank. That's why they love Tank so much. And the Mexicans, they love that grittiness.
Because I interview a lot of people, right? Mexican fighters, Mexican trainers, and when I ask them, Tank, Shakur Haney, who do you like? They always pick Tank, and I feel like in our culture we respect the power, the heart, and Tank. It seems like in fights, that's what he shows. He's he's a guy that gets some guys out of
the
there.
Mexican style type of fight, and how would I sit there say, you got to look at the greats that came through the Mexicans. They fighters. They gritty. They gonna make you work. And that's what Tank's been doing. He ain't like looking pretty in there. He come out looking good, but when it's fight time, it's fight time.
The only guy I could think of that won over the Mexicans that wasn't Mexican like that was Pacquiao.
Yeah,
and do you feel like Tank kind of has that? He's transcended,
Yes,
where
transcended.
where
I
everyone
agree with
likes
you.
you. When
Yes.
you're transcended, everyone
I
likes
agree
you.
with you on that.
Not just certain demographics.
Yeah, so that's telling you a big thing that's what's going on.
Now, you've known Tank since he was a kid, right? Mm-hmm. Talk about that real quick, right? When you bring him a kid, how old is he? What, 7, 8 years old? When you
7
first saw him?
years old when we first got him. Now it's like he a grown man now. So it's like when you see him with his family, him doing what he doing, him giving us directions of what he want to do, that says a lot. But that's come from the upbringing that he got with us.
Because in Baltimore, right? I've never been, but a lot of people they tell me like, nah, bro. They go like you seen on The Wire. It's really like that.
Yeah, and it's definitely like that. And he's giving our city hope to let the youth know, put the right people around you, anything is possible.
And where we come from, right? A lot of the kids, the teenagers, young men, they always get into bad habits, hustling, slanging. They do stuff like that. So do you feel like Tank? You said he's giving them hope. Do you feel like that's the motivation and the role model people need?
Well, see, everybody don't like talking about the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. I went away for 10 years and came back, and it's still the same way. And I used them guys to help me raise my program. Meaning, you see a kid that got some talent, and you believe that he can stay out of trouble, and you want to make a difference in his life, push him to the gym, push him to a library, push him somewhere. You know what I'm saying? There was a scene with Biggie. When he was hustling, and his man said to him, "Yo, you got a future, man," and he pushed him that way. And we had one of the greatest rappers. So what I'm saying to the public that's listening to this, if you see a youth that got some talent, boxing, drawing, anything, push him to his talent, because you be giving back to the world of bringing that talent out.
Now, I've seen you when you've been asked about this, actually almost break down and come to tears, right? And it's like you said, you've known him from 7 years old now, up to him being a father, a grown man, 28-0, 26 knockouts. The people, they don't understand the journey and everything that it took to get here at all, right?
It is still the journey. It's still a journey, and people don't give us our credit. But I told Tank, that's okay. You don't need that. Your credit is with your Lord. At the end of the day, what's going to make you a man? And motivating somebody to say, yo, I'm going to follow the same road he followed. I'm going to make a difference.
And as I mentioned with Tank, right, like in Vegas, you see these kids, they see what Mayweather done. So now you see these kids at the Mayweather gym. You see these kids at these gyms in Vegas. Is that what you're trying to do for Baltimore, where they see Tank and, hey, they're like, I can be like Tank?
The gyms in America don't get the props that they get because you have a lot of coaches in them gyms, man. They lawyers, they doctors, they counselors, they mothers, they fathers to these kids. And the goal that we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do is bring that out so they can get the funding to bring the resources to these kids to make them better citizens.
Now, Coach, right now, right, as we talked about the fight a little bit with Ryan, talk about the size, right? Ryan's a big guy, and then of course they made this stuff about the rehydration clause, the big stuff, big issue about that. Do you feel like that's what Tank likes? He likes fighting bigger guys? Because the only guy he really had trouble with was Pitbull, and this is my personal opinion. I think because Pitbull was smaller. Do you feel like Tank just loves the taller guys? Like he
Let me
don't,
say something. I'm gonna answer your first question.
Go ahead.
The first one is we already knocked off. What's his name? Dad, this man. He was tall. He was tall.
Barrios?
Barrios.
Yeah.
So that's out of the question. Barrios, great fighter, power. Speed was a little different, but he did a great job. The second part of your question is, we don't worry about none of that. We don't worry about none of that. What we worry about is the guys in front of us. Everybody say Ron got speed, but did he force somebody that had speed too? Everybody say Ron got power. Did he force somebody with power?
Do you feel like it's just any style can get it, basically?
Well, any style going to get it, especially when they sign that contract and stand in front of us, So we don't pay attention to that. It's a fight. Once that contract is signed, it's a hit.
Do you feel like with Tank, right, his development and where he's at now, like if you look at him I'll say about 2-3 years ago till now, it seems like it's light and day and he's a lot more comfortable. And then
What you think?
The interview's not about me, but what I see is, he takes his time, and then from whatever reason, rounds 5 through 8, 5 through 9, that's when he really turns it up on guys.
I'm gonna give you this one. He analyzing the data.
Because they always say, well, that's Lomachenko, he's downloading data. Do you feel like with Tank, right, him being a more calm, him being a more patient fighter, that a lot of people, they're saying, well, Ryan with his left hook, but with Tank, you don't fall for just anything. Do you feel like with Tank's a much underrated boxer than what people give him credit for?
Yes. They don't give him credit for all the stuff that he's been doing. But I've been watching this particular fight that everybody trying to break his defense down, his offense down, what he like to do when he's setting this up. So that's telling me that they paying attention to him.
All right, Coach. Anything you want to leave off of today?
No, only thing I want to sit there and say, you support us, we fight for you.
All right, man. Thanks so much, Coach.
No, thank you, man.